today is kind of, we're putting it all together in a whole different way. You've been working really, really hard on tending your own yard, taking your own personal responsibility, not putting things on others, especially our kids. And what we want most is connection. And what happens is we can't have connection without trust. And those two things kind of go together. So what I love about today's lesson is something that I've seen work over and over and over again, and most parents are completely unaware of. So because you're expanding in your awareness of yourself, you're ready for today's lesson. We're going to talk about how to build trust. This is kind of a short list of some really powerful ways. Now, in my book, Mamifesto, I give 25 ways to connect to your kids. So you can, of course, look at that, and those are great ways of connection. But we can't have connection until we have trust. Here are some trust busters on this side. Name calling. You're an idiot. You're so stupid. I can't believe you did that. Things like this. Shame. Why? Shame and guilt are kind of you didn't do enough, and you are not enough. So who do you think you are? Who does these things? Those are shame-inducing sounds. And guilt is, why would you do that? What are you thinking? Like, by the way, there's no good answer to those questions, so don't ask either of those. The only thing that does is create wounds in our kids, and often they come from our wounds, creating their wounds. It's awful. Demanding that they respond a certain way. I see this over and over and over with parents because they have control issues as moms and dads, and because they don't know what else to do, they demand, say you're sorry right now, make sure this happens, make sure that happens, go clean your room, don't stop crying. Like, what? You're not going to build any trust that this kid feels safe with you if these are the demands that they're living under and the emotional climate that they're living in. It's really hard. Putting anger on them. So when we yell and when we're frustrated and when all this, it makes kids kind of tense up and go inward because they're trying to protect themselves. And any judgment on them. You're not listening to me because you're so dumb, or you're this, or you're that, or you're whatever, or I need you to change the way you are, or that's a bad thing you did. These are all forms of judgment, and these are all very emotional ways of relating with our kids that, and rightfully so, cause them to protect themselves and to keep a distance from us. And what we really want is connection, right? So we have to check ourselves right here. We have to learn other ways of parenting. We have to learn other ways of navigating our own selves and our own lives, and stop acting towards our kids in ways that we would never act toward another adult, and we would not want acted toward us. The bottom line checklist that will end up being your own personal checklist is this question. If you are on the receiving end of what you dished out during that day, would you trust yourself? Would you want to connect to that person? Would you feel good about being in a relationship with that person? And if there's things on this side, then the answer is going to be no. That's okay. I want to give you credit for even considering that question, but those are the things that you have to work on and change to build trust so that your child can connect with you. So let me give you some options, right? Because chances are our parents did a lot of these things to us, so it's kind of on default. But what do we do? Yes, we can be open-hearted to them, giving them options to hang out with us, to be with us, or not. Because the truth is, if we've had a broken connection or we've busted a lot of trust with them, this is going to take time. This is going to take a lot of time for them to heal and them to kind of come around again and be like, okay, this is safe, right? We need to learn who they are. What do they like? Instead of being demanding and nitpicking them, who are they? If they were to kind of unfold and play with their friends, are they patient kids? Are they funny kids? Are they creative kids? Are they getting into mischief because they're so intelligent kids? See, so let's just step back and look and learn about who they are. Sometimes we have to change the way we parent. And one of the things we can do that we've talked about in earlier classes is to focus on their behavior and just calmly and kindly correct their behavior, or give that some consequences that's very objective and kind that everybody knows beforehand, so that there's an emotional component that's not causing them to seize up. When we correct behavior with an open heart and love and kindness and no emotion, it's easy to be received, because we're like, hey, you did this thing, we already talked about it, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna need your phone. Like, okay, fine. And now that gives them the chance to learn, instead of seizing up and feeling ashamed and guilty and, oh my gosh, I'm such a mess and why did I do that again? There is none of that. They're just open to learning. Being positive, catching them doing something good, telling them, hey, I just like you, I just want you to know, for absolutely no reason. Or telling them, hey, I've really been seeing you be amazing to your friends lately. Or you've really been listening well, and I just want to acknowledge that. All of these are positive things that if you say to your kid, you will see their face turn to you and go, what? Because chances are we're not parenting with positive love and affirmation out of the clear blue for no reason. So find some positive things. Do what they love. I cannot tell you enough, when you learn what your kid loves to do, whether it's dolls or cars or jump on a trampoline. My kid was into parkour, which means he liked jumping on buildings and doing somersaults and trampolines and doing like 5 flips in a row. And what did I do? I was on the trampoline and I screamed half the time, and I'm sitting on the trampoline the other half of the time. But what happens? I'm building trust and connection because I'm on his turf. I'm on his territory. We're having fun. We're laughing. Fun is the back door to connection every single time. You know why? Because when people are having fun, they stop worrying about control. They stop worrying about their wounds. They stop worrying about the other person and how they're being treated and what's happening and all this other stuff. Nobody's positioning to be right. And everybody can just be. And it's amazing what happens when we engage in fun with our kids. In fact, I think it is the fastest, shortest way to build connection and trust with them. Patience. And we have to understand that if over time we've busted a lot of trust with them, either because we've been kind of living in these things and we just didn't really know any better, it's going to take a lot of patience and time. Sometimes I think it doesn't take as long as we are afraid it's going to take to connect again with our kids, but generally between 1 to 2 weeks for most kids to think and realize we've changed our ways towards them. If we're really consistent, they'll start to open up and unfold. And when they do, we have got to never, ever, ever go back to these things. If we do, we have to apologize and move on. But when they open up and we've been really patient and we give them time, it's a beautiful relationship. And the last one is acceptance. Because when we accept our kids for who they truly are, whatever their stage is, wherever they are, because of how we've parented them and our interaction with them, and we just accept them, wounds and all, faults, failures, the things they do that drive us nuts and everything else, and we just accept and love them for who they are, they can unfold in their own power. They get to tell us, no, I don't prefer that right now, and we say okay and respect that. They get to grow strong and start to learn to accept themselves, right? Because they don't know how to accept themselves. As parents, we're teaching them everything about how they need to be to themselves. So when we are modeling all these things, they're internalizing them. It's incredibly powerful. So, to build trust, don't do the trust busters. Do the trust builders. Have some patience. Love your kids. And know and believe that your consistency over time will completely change your connection with them. Thank you for doing the work. This is tough stuff. And I am so proud of you for showing up session after session.